So yeah, that's the story. We want to have a strategy or technique to show what we can't normally see in financial value that a CEO and a manager can actually accept as being something like what is probably going to happen. Worst case scenario, make the risk visual, develop the envelope to see where it will fall depending upon this business's practices. We want to, if degradation is an issue, we want to, which parts are the high risk parts to the equipment? Let's make sure that they are monitored carefully if need be, and we're watching where that P point is. We know that stress is going to be what we want to prevent. If our current practices are in fact inducing stress or not reducing stress as well as it can go, if we're not managing degradation, then we know that's an opportunity to improve operating practices and eventually the outcome for the business. What this basically is saying is a good practice is to use condition monitoring to detect the degradation. That's good practice, it's useful. A better practice would be to actually look at where the risks are in this equipment proactively and prevent that risk occurring in the first place. And the very best practice would be to reduce the stress across the machine. So it is going to be, you're going to manage its life in a way that is properly controlled and degradation is within the boundaries you want it to be. And we want to be able to have a technique to show the value of what's the point of doing degradation management? What's the point of ensuring we don't have this up and down pressures? We can say, well, each of these pressures, each of these points here, you're actually causing maintenance costs, you're actually destroying the machine.
What do you think, what is the aspect of reliability-centered maintenance that allows them to miss this?
They don't.
They come up with solutions, but they can't see the true value of...
Here, he's got the risk. Here we go. Here he's got his current risk, the current situation. They then decide what to do. There is no analysis of the risk after the decision. So we just throw a bunch of ideas on the table. They all sound okay to me from my history and experience as an engineer, as a maintainer. Oh, well, yeah, I don't mind doing another valve inspection every month, every year. Yeah, that's okay. It never asks to prove the value of that. And this guy did the RCM incorrectly, which I don't think he's done. I think he's done it the way it's supposed to be written up in the books. What's missing is there's no proof it's actually a good idea. It's just an assumption that has come out of an RCM process. Must be a good idea because with all these engineers together, it must be a good idea.
So they need another column or two.
They need to ask, is it financially sensible? Yeah, that's all they've got to do is put the thing onto the matrix. You know, before and after. If after has not moved from before, well, it's a waste of time.
Do they even use a matrix? Do they even look at it?
Only to grade the current risk, not to degrade the risk after the decision.
Even in the RCM process, if I'm not mistaken, they don't put dollars and cents to risk.
No one speaks about money. As a maintenance manager,
They just rate risk. They don't put dollars and cents to
No
risk.
value.
Now, do they make an effort, in your experience, to focus on system, maintaining the system, and you can allow certain components to fail if the system still works, or do they?
look, I think that thinking is increasing. I couldn't give an example of a company that does that, but the realisation that a machine is a system of parts probably is in most maintainers' mind. They realise if this bearing is going to go, then that seal is going to be a problem, that shaft could be damaged. Most guys that work in the machine understand the interaction, but I don't think the business actually thinks that way. Yeah.
As far as the business has gotten, in my experience, is when they recognize that situation, they put that on the shelf as a spare.
Yes.
Well, at least that's about as far as business has gotten in my experience.
Which is okay. I mean, that's not a bad solution. It just is an optimal solution. There's better solutions out there. So we're trying to give them optimal solutions. This is not a cost-free solution. PW isn't cost-free. It's the least cost to give us the reliability that this business needs. That's why I want to have one process that applies with every business, but the outcome of the process is for that business's situation. And that's why I want to have these 6 process steps. We follow the same steps, but the results are for this business, and another business next week will have a different result that suits that business's risk profile and history and practices.
You think to make the case for PEW, you know, if I'm a manager, I say, well, you have to show me what's wrong with preventive maintenance, with predictive maintenance, with RCM. You have to show me what's wrong, and then I'll listen to you.
That's a hard one, because everybody thinks they're doing the right things. It comes back to this issue. It is working to a degree that you are leaving so much behind that you cannot see, because you think it's doing the best it can for you, and you think what is coming out is optimal for us. I just can't see, in fact, that it's nowhere near as the potential's not fully explored.
Well, I think
That's the bit we have to try and
the
do.
slide you just had up, where you had a preventive maintenance task and a risk matrix together.
Yes.
I mean, you can easily prove with that preventive maintenance isn't working.
Yeah.
Maybe it would be good to break
easy
out
to
a
prove.
separate example. You know, here's a manufacturing operation. Here's the root problem, and now we're going to address it with preventive maintenance, with predictive maintenance, with RCM. We're going to do all these things the way they're supposed to be done. And guess what? The root problem is still hiding down here.
Yeah. Look, if you can do that, and again, if you can show them visually, to say, well, we're going to apply RCM, it should move it this way. You know, it should be like, you should end up here with RCM. Will it actually get there? So if you can find some way to make it clear on a financially based approach, then you've got ammunition.
You think there's anything hidden in your book that could be used as an example if it was reworked somehow?
Perhaps not so much in the book, but we can certainly develop that example. In fact, one of the things that we're going to pull out of this training section is what more can we add in to PEW to firm it up, to give us good supporting evidence and justifiable reasons for doing things.